The Saturday afternoon shootout is on the air. Warning, although the information expressed on the show has been researched by our staff, it may not be correct. All opinions made by the host or the guests are theirs alone and should not be considered legal advice. Be sure to consult an attorney before attempting anything you hear on the show. Just because we say it on the internet doesn't mean it will stand up in court. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Afternoon Shootout. I'm Brian.
I'm Nate.
We have a guest, Steve, in the studio. Steve's been on before. He always has interesting things to add to the conversation. We are broadcasting from the 15th floor of the Wilson Building in downtown Flint, the Vehicle City.
Nice day out
on
today.
Flint Talk Radio. Gorgeous day out there.
Very nice out there.
We ran into the Japanese mafia. What was the
Yakuza?
The Yakuza. They were on
Suzuki's.
Suzuki's, yeah.
They were on Suzuki's.
I ride a Yamaha, so they don't bother me.
Yeah, you're cool.
Yep.
And
it's a long ride for them from Japan.
It is. I think what they do is they transfer to jet skis to come across the ocean.
Oh, that's nice.
And then they get more bikes when they get
nice.
onto the continent there.
All right. Well, good for them.
That's how they work it.
Welcome to Flint.
Flint is good. We have Japanese mafia. We have the Tong, I think it is, the Chinese mafia.
I don't know anything about them.
We have Billy Bob's gang. George's boys. They're down on the corner as well. Nate's not listening. We want to remind you to check out our book, My Parents Open Carry. You can go to myparentsopencarry.com and look up the book there. Get it now, and you get a bonus book of another author within White Feather Press. I guess we what do you want to talk? I mean, you get anything out of the way? You want to say anything? Nice day today. Maybe spring's finally here.
You just had to jinx it, didn't you?
For now, yeah, it's going to snow tomorrow. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. I don't know if it is.
Steve rode his motorcycle here. He said it was chilly. But that's just wind chill, so you don't even worry about that.
My hands didn't get cold because I had my Army surplus shooting mitts on.
Yeah.
With the trigger finger.
They work good?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. How about your tallywhacker? Did that get cold?
Nope.
No? Okay, that's
it's
good.
smallish.
It's small, hides it there.
I was in a car with heat, so I didn't get cold.
Yeah, we are civilized people. We actually had a...
civilized?
Yeah, we had
4 wheels and a roof.
Yeah, it was very comfortable.
A roof or a roof?
A roof.
A roof.
Because we like roofies. We like roofies. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. Some of it's gun stuff. Some of it won't be. Some it'll be civil liberties, like this a-hole judge, Belvin Perry, who put Mark Schmitter in jail for 145 days because he was passing out literature at the courthouse on how to be a good juror, what the rules are of jurors, nullification, all these things that were...
Yeah, because by doing that, he was violating a long-established law that says you can't do that, right?
No.
That wasn't the case?
Again, you're wrong, Nate. Sorry.
Interesting.
But after he put the guy in jail for 145 days, he realized, I put this guy in jail for 145 days.
I should write a law.
and there was no reason for that. So I'm going to write not a law, administrative order, a court order. Now this is what it says. I'm going to read it verbatim. Ooh. Verbatim. It is prohibited for any person or group to engage in any type of First Amendment activities within the main Orange County Courthouse complex grounds unless the First Amendment activities occur within a designated exempted zone. So they have created a First Amendment zone.
And a First Amendment free zone outside of that, right?
Yeah, which is everywhere.
Which sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many people are up in arms, not literally because they're idiots, but how many people are upset about this sort of infringement on the First Amendment and creating a First Amendment free zone, right, where people aren't offended because it's safe, because you can't use your First Amendment.
And the best part about it is, depending on where that zone is, nobody's voice is goes across that zone.
And people
it stops at the end.
It stops at the zone.
It will stop there, and you'll see the sign going in, and you won't say bad things once you're in that zone if you're a criminal.
Yeah, I suspect the exempt zone where you can actually exercise your First Amendment is the park 18 blocks away.
Probably, yeah.
Now, this is what else it says. It says, the dissemination of any leaflets and other materials to summon jurors containing written or pictorial information tending to influence summoned jurors, as well as approaching a summoned juror for the purpose of displaying a sign to or engaging in oral protest, education, or counseling with information tending to influence summoned jurors on any matter, questions, cause, or proceedings which may be pending or which may be by law be brought before him or her as such juror shall be prohibited on the Orange County Courthouse complex grounds.
Sounds like that's what lawyers do in general.
Yeah, I have a question.
Well, the issue is he wants the jurors to be dumb and stupid because that's how the game's played these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he doesn't want to have
absolutely.
He doesn't want... This judge should be doing this. If he were a real judge, he should be telling the jurors and handing out that pamphlet. This is the powers that you have as a juror.
Yep.
And this is what you can do. You can ask questions. You can stop the trial proceedings and ask questions. You know, you have power to do something. And if you think the law is unconstitutional or unjust, you can nullify it.
Yep.
You have power as a juror. Learn those powers. This guy was just handing out information on how to be a juror. And Steve's looking into the Constitution here.
Well,
it's always the best reference.
It's a good reference. So this judge is a dictator, tyrant little bastard that needs to get his balls cut off and put in his mouth.
I'm sure he has some sort of term limit, and he'll be out of there shortly, though.
Probably not.
Oh. I guess
so
there's that.
That really, if you haven't noticed, upset me just a little. I hate that. I hate the contempt of court where a judge can put you in jail indefinitely without a trial, without a lawyer, without bail, without anything for as long as they want, and there's nothing you can do about it just because you've pissed a judge off.
And then he writes an order after the fact.
But I've always said, if I were to be in contempt of a judge, I would say, wait a minute, Judge, let me get this straight. You're going to put me in jail indefinitely, for what you perceive as an insult. Yes. So if I were to come up there and kill you, I would get a trial, I'd get bail, and I could be out in 25 years for murdering you, but because I've insulted you, I'm in prison forever. So I'm going to go with option 2, and I'm going to kill you. I mean, that's how much sense it makes.
But I thought judges were a judicial branch of government. I didn't think they could make law.
Yeah. Isn't that something? It's not a law. It's an administrative thing.
Which holds no weight.
It does. It's a contempt of court.
I know, but it shouldn't. Well, yeah, but he wasn't in court.
He's at the courthouse. The judge rules and owns the courthouse.
I think it's supposed to be inside those little...
I don't know. I mean, that's just like the gun-free zone administrative order for the... Yeah, you're not going to find it in there.
I get. There's a law about judges in here. My law. I made this up.
Okay.
Well, my ancestors or my forefathers, they come up with this law that said that judges in every state shall be bound thereby, any law. And it says right here, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to contrary notwithstanding. He's got to follow certain rules and laws.
Contempt of court, I think, might be a law. I don't know. I've never looked at what the powers are.
I always thought you had to be on trial to be in contempt.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you might be in the visitor's booth, you can be in contempt, I know, but that's inside the room.
You're generally in the courtroom.
Right, you're not outside in a
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Here's the thing, Steve. Why don't you go into his courtroom and ask him?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what are you going to
basically
do?
A tyrant.
That's like if you bring a gun into a courtroom in Michigan, you're not violating any law.
Just a rule.
You're just in contempt of court.
Just some better-than-you judge decided that that's how it should be.
Well, the Supreme Court of Michigan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so it's crap. It's too much power given to one man. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Are we done with that? We can move on because I want to talk
I'm
about
letting you go.
Your buddy, Dr. Carson, that you want to...
No, don't.
You want to elect President of the United States, Dr. Carson, who gave
never said that.
Barack Obama...
I never said that.
A bunch of crap at some breakfast or something. What was that?
There's another one out there, too. It's pretty good, too. after the fact.
And we're going to talk about Glenn Beck asked him what he thought about the Second Amendment, and he said, I believe the Second Amendment is necessary. He goes, do you have a right to an assault weapon?
He said there's a reason for the Second Amendment, is what he said.
Which almost sounds like he supports it. But, yeah, he never actually said he did.
Right. Yeah, it's a lawyer thing.
So Beck asked him,
but he's a doctor.
Does that include assault rifles and stuff? And he's like, and he was caught off guard, and he had to really think, and he says, well, not in populated areas where people can get...
Not assault rifles, semi-automatic weapon is what the specific...
Why didn't you do it?
Well, that was it. Glenn Beck said, do I have the right to own a semi-automatic? And he said, well, it depends on where you live. And if you live in a populated urban area...
No.
And I think that a crazy person might get the gun, then no. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, then, hey, I have no problem with that. And like I said before... Everything up until that I have heard Ben Carson say, I don't know his whole life story and everything. He's a great neurosurgeon. And as far as I know, he's one of the first to separate twins that were conjoined on the head, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Everything he says about policy in general and about economics and about Obamacare and about healthcare and all these things are great.
Yeah.
Great. And then he says this, and these were the reservations I had about him is, and he doesn't have to be a gun guy, I don't care, but he's wrong.
Right.
He's wrong about this.
And we discussed this off air that, he can learn.
Yeah,
he can be educated.
And that might be it.
He might come around and realize, because he's supposed to be illogical,
And I told you just this morning that I completely support and would support somebody who legitimately changes their mind about something.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's possible.
And if you have a comment, you can call in at 810-208-1854. It is a call-in show. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have a great comment or a good question, we have gift cards to Walmart, coffee shops, different places, anywhere from $10 to $25. It's free money, so you might as well call in and say something
right
great.
Now?
You can't do it.
You're a guest.
You are part of the panel now, so no, you're disqualified. And so are your family members.
You're actually going to share in our salary.
So. Yeah, we're going to split out what we get.
So now I have to give money?
So now you're going to have to, for gas money to get here.
Anyway, I think education possibly is the problem with this. I don't know. To me, it's a fairly extreme view that he has that if you're in a city, you don't have a right to own a semi-automatic.
And he associates big cities with crazy people.
That's true.
They're ran by Democrats generally.
There's no crazy people out in the country.
See, I'd be the other way around. There's more people in the city, so I need more rounds.
Well, that's logic.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was in a small city, I'd have a pistol. If I was wandering the back road by myself, I'd have maybe a semi-automatic rifle for so I could, like deer or dogs.
Coyote,
wolf. Yakuza.
Sasquatch.
A couple of hillbillies.
With shotguns. Definitely. You're going to run into hillbilly. What about a Bigfoot hillbilly?
All right. With a pet coyote.
That's scary. I couldn't stand that.
Anyway, Mr. Carson, just do a little research and think about it.
I think he'll come around.
Because
he is very
if you're going to run for president or any office, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah. Not like this guy, former mayoral candidate in Tucson, Arizona. He's launched a privately funded program to provide residents of crime-prone areas with free shotguns so they can defend themselves.
That's pretty cool.
Sean Mikulski said the program, modeled after one recently launched in Houston, would provide training and enough money to buy a basic shotgun and buckshot, show them how to use it, and they have gotten $12,000 so far in private donations.
Wow.
Nice.
And so they said they could start handing out guns within a couple of months.
Now, are they telling these people that, what Joe Biden said, that they're to shoot through the door?
Or up in
it
the air.
depends on if you're a woman.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're a woman, just shoot up in the air.
Right.
Otherwise, just shoot at the door.
And no more than 3 rounds, because that's all you need to shoot ducks.
Yeah, you can duck hunt with 3 rounds. You can protect yourself with 3 rounds.
Absolutely.
When 4 people break into your house, just line them up.
Line them up. Now, you guys, come on now. You guys get that's. I can do 2 headshots here and kind of split it. And you 2 guys stand there. All right.
Yeah, one of you go stand behind the door.
Women tend to be better shot than men, so maybe.
I think you're being biased.
Oh yeah, I like women.
I'm not biased. I'm straight. Bye.
That wasn't funny at all.
That was a little funny.
No, not a bit.
Insert chart. I don't want to insert chart.
What?
Yeah, don't do that.
Anyways, I thought that was cool.
Anyway, no, they are not going to teach them what Joe Biden would teach them. I hope.
You don't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's privately funded, so I'm sure they're probably educated more than Senate.
More than the government is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I mean, Feinstein's been doing it for 25 years. So.
I think that's a good idea. That would be great. Maybe some of the gun groups in Michigan ought to pool their money together and do something like that.
I think so. I mean, you can get a pretty cheap shotgun and some cheap ammo and training.
You can probably get
wasn't there
manufacturers to do it at cost.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd be good advertisement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Certainly would.
Wasn't there a city in Georgia that passed an ordinance where you had to have
that was in the
crime,
80s.
Crime went down.
Way down, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's at a local level, so that's better than any other level. But
by the
it's
UN.
still, yeah.
Can you imagine them passing a law that we only all have to own guns?
Probably should have been a resolution that we encourage every household to have.
Right, and maybe it was.
Like a fire alarm.
No, it wasn't. It was an ordinance.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was an ordinance, like a smoke detector. I think some cities do that.
Sure.
Yeah,
or you can't smoke in their yard outside, like some cities do too.
Yeah,
which
that's
is another
up,
discussion.
They can't what?
There are some cities, I think in California, they've outlawed smoking in your own yard.
Possibly New York, even. I'm not sure about New York for sure.
So because
there's not much yard in New York.
It affects other people.
It can.
So what? I can't cook my barbecue.
Oh, they're trying to. I remember articles about that.
I know.
Secondhand smoke isn't that bad
recreational
for you.
fires and stuff. I love my fire and my patio, and stuff. And you can't do it until all through the hot summer. You can't have. I don't know. There's something.
My township, you cannot have any fire without a permit, and then you cannot burn building materials or paper. But you also can't have one after dark. Imagine that.
Yeah, but.
That's
we
crazy.
have 2. We have, if you're burning like leaves and brush, you got to get a permit. Can't burn after dark. Can't burn in the wind. There's rules for that.
Yeah.
But you can get a recreational fire pit. Yeah. And the fire marshal comes out and he inspects it. And then it's a one-time thing. He makes sure it's not too close to buildings, whatever. Yeah. Then you can burn whatever you want, except you can't burn like garbage and stuff like that. Didn't say people.
No.
Didn't say you couldn't burn people.
That's absurd.
Ours doesn't either.
I think that's just crazy.
Nate wants to discuss Nate. Nate wants to discuss not.
I don't know where you're going.
Voter suppression and how do gun control laws favor the rich?
Well, I don't necessarily want to talk about voter suppression because that's a whole other topic.
Gun control.
Gun control laws favor the rich.
What the point was that you brought up was that CPLs are expensive, training's expensive, and when you mandate those things, it takes the poor people out of the game.
It does, absolutely.
The people who generally are in high crime areas, generally they're victims of crimes, and they could have more. They may see a bigger benefit of owning a firearm for self-defense. They can't afford it because they can't afford to pay for a concealed pistol license and pay for the training and things like that. My point with voter suppression was what they're saying. Basically, when people bring up a voter ID law, they say, well, the minorities are too poor and too stupid to be able to get IDs, so we can't force that on them. But it's the exact same argument for firearm licensing.
Which is the reason they have them, is to discourage people.
Yeah, it is.
Well, just like the first gun registration was to deny black people.
Right. You had to come in person. They got to see you. Oh, it's a black guy. Denied.
Right.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. It's expensive. They got to take time off from work sometimes.
I have.
They can't get babysitters and stuff. Also, the forms can be, confusing if you have less educated people maybe that are have trouble reading or comprehending, don't understand the laws. I mean, the laws are ridiculous to understand. Good Lord. I mean,
it's exactly the same case that they make for voter ID. The difference is they want to disarm the poor, stupid people.
Right. And then there's just this not innate, what am I saying? It's not innate. This culturally created fear of the police. Some poor neighborhoods, they don't want to have to go to the police department or the sheriff's department or whatever to get these permits. They just have a mistrust of government.
Yeah.
And
really?
So, I don't know where that comes from.
Cannot imagine why.
I don't know if it's justified or not. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
It is.
It probably isn't.
It is. So those are some of the things. So, I mean, we've known this for years. What unfortunately the left and those that want to control people may not realize that, or if they do, then they are really evil and sinister.
They absolutely do realize that, for sure.
Oh,
they make things expensive. Like part of this is taxes on ammos and gun registration, FFL fees, and things like that. They do it to make it too expensive for people to afford, and it affects the poor the most.
And if they pass the insurance part of this whole gun control thing, that'll really put a damper on it. If you had to have insurance on your firearm.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
You're just talking $1 million liability.
And the other thing they've talked about for years is just taxing ammunition so high that people can't afford it.
Yep.
I mean, well, we're not infringing on your right to own these things. It just makes it so prohibitively high that you won't. Checkmate.
Well,
sort of.
That's what they invented revolutions for, I guess.
I think those just come about organically.
Organically? I like that.
Ideally they do, and ideally it won't happen, but last resort, right?
Doesn't hope.
Well, that's what the Second Amendment's for.
That's why I always say that things aren't too bad right now, because right now it's every man for themselves.
And
I don't own a firearm, so I don't care about your right, and I'm not, so we're
I'm not gay?
Yeah,
fat and gay.
So
Is that
I
what
don't.
you're gonna do?
I don't support it because I'm not gay, but if that's what you want to do, that's fine. It's like that mentality.
We're with you, Brian.
So I'm not a smoker, so I don't care if they step all over a smoker's rights.
And I don't carry a concealed weapon. I'm just a hunter, so as long as they don't affect
that might be one of the most dangerous ones right now, I think.
Yeah.
Because there are lots and lots of hunters that are saying, I have my shotgun, I can shoot through the door, like Joe Biden said. I don't need to worry about these.
So many people that own guns are going, I really believe that we should, ban assault.
But see,
those I don't really need that. I don't need that to shoot my deer every year.
But those are hunters. They're not Americans, because Americans would read the Constitution and know it doesn't matter if it's a hunting gun or.
Yeah, and realize that after the assault weapons is the shotguns and the deer rifles. That's next.
Yeah.
I mean, they did
sniper rifles and combat trench rifles.
They did come after the musket, right? At once.
They sure did.
They did, and I don't understand. Well, it was the dirty British that did that.
Flintlock is okay, but the muzzle, the cap, ball and cap was a little easier to load and faster, so that was too dangerous.
Which brings up the issue, and I wanted to get into this thing here, but what do you think of these 3D plastic guns that are being made? That 3D? GD's out of the box.
The 3D printers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
what I did is I actually had a 3D printer make me a 3D printer so that I could make guns. Brilliant.
Why wouldn't you do that?
If they ban my 3D printer, I can just make 3D printers.
Yeah.
With a 3D printer, there's not a flaw in that, is there? Anyways, I watched a video on this, and this guy's it's one particular guy that's going around doing this. He's got a company that makes these. They're doing a lot of research. He's got the mags down pretty well. He can make mags, quick. He says that's just a box with a spring. I mean, you're never going to be able to control that. You can make those in a garage. He's making the lower, which is, it's this small little piece of equipment that the ATF regulates. I mean, you can buy barrels, you can buy pistol grips, you can buy all these other parts that go to that lower. It's, that big for those of you that don't know. And you can make those out of materials with this 3D printer.
Right. That's
what's regulated. Well, they went after him. They said, well, you can't manufacture them. Well, you can manufacture them without a license, but you can't sell them. He got his FFL. So now he's a licensed dealer. Yep. And he's getting pretty close to being able to make a high quality lower receiver, with certain materials with a 3D printer. And his point was, you're never, ever, ever going to stop people from being able to make guns.
I believe there's a law under the ATF. I was reading.
And they haven't even addressed this. They're starting to now.
But if you had the 3D printer You can make your own gun at home.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't even, I believe, doesn't even have to have a serial number. But you cannot sell it,
right,
or give it away, or use it
transport it or whatever.
Right.
Is that
I don't know about transporting it. I was reading it
within your state
for your own personal use, right?
I don't know about crossing state lines.
No, well, yeah, that's interstate. So yeah, the federal government.
Yeah,
has,
you can transport it within your state.
I fully support that too. That the government has 100% control over commerce outside the state boundaries.
You do not.
I know. I mean, well,
you scared me for a minute.
I can read the Constitution where it says that states may not tax other states on products transported. That's kind of what the only thing the federal government really has control over.
So, what the government's going to do then, of course, is going to regulate the 3D printers, and they're going to regulate the material that they use. It's a liquid they pour into it that makes it, and yada, 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 and so on and so forth. But, he's making that point. You're not going to stop technology.
No.
You're not going to stop
not
the
going to stop
American
capitalism.
creativity. You're not going to stop the black market capitalism, all that. People are going to have guns. It's ridiculous.
And the biggest problem is that even if you do ban all weapons and there's still this ability to create guns out there, people who follow the law aren't going to be creating firearms, so they're still going to be disarmed. Eventually, people will say, yeah, this isn't right, and they'll make firearms, and then they'll take their rights back. But, I mean, that takes a while.
It takes a long time.
We want to nip it in the bud.
What you really need to do is get on your local and state governments to protect you like they should be doing from the federal government.
And we've said that before on the show. Get on your local boards, be on the trustees, the councils, advisory boards, whatever. Get involved in your local politics because you can influence freedom from the grassroots level and the local level on up. Looking at some poll results, and these are fairly recent as of this week. And I'm not going to, some are CNN, USA reports, some are other Fox News, some of they're right.
Got to be accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go to all of the polls and look at the statistics involved. I'm just going to give you some trends. But apparently right after the shooting in Newtown in December, it was 13% of people that were polled said there should be no restrictions on guns. So that's 13% of the population said the Second Amendment means what it says, no restrictions.
I'm in there.
Well, they just did it in mid-March, and it's up to 17%. So that number has gone up higher instead of gone down.
Yeah, it's awareness.
And that's the highest it's ever been since 1993 when CNN started taking it.
That's indicative of awareness and education, I think.
It says on the flip side, those who want major restrictions on gun ownership fell from 37% in December to 31%. So that's good. The people called in the survey skewed left was 33% Democrats. So even with more Democrats answering the poll, it still fell.
Isn't that funny how that works, though?
43% of the poll people were independent, 25 were Republican.
43% of independent. So you were on that.
I didn't say I was independent.
Well, the middle of the
road. I'm moderate and intelligent, and I
liberal.
Look at each.
No, you said you were in the middle of the road. You didn't say intelligent or any of that. You said middle of the road.
That was implied.
We would have known you were lying had you said that.
Listen, I don't have to.
Anyway, these polls, if you look at the numbers, that's how they do them, and I think they're still using like the couple years ago election results to figure out their weighting, Republican, Democrat things. And I don't think that represents the actual population.
No.
But you can look at trends.
So I said I was going to go. 57% wanted stricter gun control laws. It's now down to 47%.
But I don't think the government's going to use those.
Shift came to those who believe gun control laws should be kept
75% of the people didn't want Obamacare.
So it went from for those that believe they should just leave it alone and keep it the way it is, went from 30 to 39%.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
And it
so
says
9% of us got
this poll. They said actually favored gun control advocates because it only asked adults, not just registered voters. I don't know what that means. I guess registered voters are supposed to be,
educated,
more educated.
Well, no. Registered voters are registered to actually make a difference,
as opposed to all the people in the community.
Because if you're not going to vote,
can't use
then who cares what you have to say? You're probably not going to go lobby either.
They asked this question. What do you think the number was? It says, what do you think is the most likely thing that they can do to reduce gun violence? And the top response was?
Give people more guns?
Gun control.
Better parenting.
Oh, damn, if I knew I could have better parents.
37% said it falls on parents.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That can be debated,
how about
I think,
keeping criminals in jail forever instead of letting them back out to repeat crime?
Yeah, the whole recidivism thing, huh?
This is going to take some time, so I'm going to ask the guys here if they want to get into it.
I don't do that.
This is Harry. Harry Reid introduced this last Thursday, Senate Bill 649. That's the one bill you guys got to check out. 649.
Yep.
It's put on the calendar. Probably after Easter, it'll be looked at. And I looked at the bill, and it's not very nice. It basically is going to look at, it shall be unlawful for any person who is not licensed under this chapter to transfer a firearm to any other person who is not licensed unless you're an importer and are licensed. Upon taking possession of the firearm, the licensee shall comply with all the requirements of this chapter as if the licensee were transferring the firearm from the licensee's inventory to the unlicensed transferee. In other words, the only people that can exchange guns are as a licensed dealer and someone else.
I don't know why you felt like you needed to kind of explain that. It was clear when you read
something
it the
about
first
license
time.
is all I got. But we have licenses, so right, so we could
No, under the chapter. They define what that is. I didn't go into that.
Then you have to go look up the other.
Now, that whole paragraph doesn't apply to you if it is a bona fide gift between a spouse, parents, children, siblings, grandparents, grandchildren. So in other words, if it's a gift only to your family member, I couldn't buy a gun for Nate. So it's only between members, all right? So I can give you a gun if it's a gift if we meet this criteria.
Well, I thought he was your brother.
Shall not apply to, we're all brothers.
Right.
Shall not apply to a transfer made from a decedent's estate pursuant to a legal will or the operation of law. Okay, so if it's willed to you, then I can transfer that gun to you after I'm dead. Or if it's a temporary transfer of possession that occurs between an unlicensed transferor and an unlicensed transferee, in other words, two people that aren't licensed, if and only if the temporary transfer of possession occurs in the home or curtilage of the transferor. So in other words, if Nate comes over, he can look at my gun in my house or on my property, and that's it. Or, as long as the firearm is not removed from the home or curtilage during that temporary transfer. Hey, you want to come over and see my new gun? Here it is. That's legal.
You can't go outside the house.
Can't go out in the street and do it. You can't do it in a parking lot. You know.
Sounds like you can't do it in your front yard.
You can't do it out in the woods. And here's the important part that's going to affect some people. That transfer can only last less than 7 days. So if Nate comes over and we spend 7 days together in my yard, he can have my gun all the time for those 7 days. If it goes to 8 days, he's now in violation. That applies, I'm assuming, to people that leave the home. If I have a bunch of guns that I own, and I leave for 2 weeks or a month, or I go down south for the winter, and there's guns somehow at home, does that person now?
So what if you're a truck driver? Because we have 8-day weeks in our log books and stuff with that.
I don't
if
know.
Two truck drivers were transferring. Could it be 8 days? Maybe we should ask.
Also, you can do transfers if it's a temporary transfer for the lawful purpose of hunting or sporting purposes, as long as it occurs at a duly incorporated organization for conservation purposes or to foster proficiency in firearms. And the firearms is at all time kept within the premises of the shooting range. So an official incorporated shooting range. So if you go out and you have a backyard range and Nate wants to come over and shoot my guns, we're in violation of the law. Shooting competitions, you can do it. I can loan a gun to Nate if we're hunting, but only during the hunting season and only if he has a hunting license.
Now I wonder, see, on your own property, I think you can hunt year-round, not deer, but like small game. So
That's
now,
true. Some states would have that.
So now you could do all year-round no matter what.
If you're
on your own property.
That's right.
Can somebody else hunt on your property, though?
Yeah.
Or you don't have to be the landowner?
No, we could go on state land and do it. Because, I mean...
No, your property is your property. If you rent or lease or you have an agreement with somebody.
Well, even if it was...
Well, sure, but if I come over to your house, I can hunt?
Yes.
You're saying? Okay, I'm not...
Yeah.
I'm not that clear.
Or we can both go on state land any time of the year there's a hunting season, as long as you have a hunting license. Right. You can possess my gun. Now, it shall not be involved if I'm showing you a gun, apparently, as a part of a sale, for the purpose of examining or evaluation for a sale.
So if you just want to look at it, it's okay, but if you want to touch it, you have to...
Well, only if you're trying to sell it.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not just to show it off.
Right.
Yeah.
See, so if I show you just for showing, and then 2 days later you want to buy, I have to say, I'm sorry, but I can't do that because I showed it to you already, and it wasn't... I don't want it to be confused with a sale.
I don't know.
What a ridiculous... Who's this guy that's doing this?
Harry Reid.
Harry Reid?
Who is... I mean, what does he do?
He's a senator.
Really?
Yeah. So anyways, here's the thing. Now, if your firearm...
He's not a very prominent one. He's just the majority leader.
If you want to... if your firearm gets stolen, and you have 24 hours from the time you realize it's stolen to report it to, it doesn't make it clear.
Oh.
Report it to local authorities and the Attorney General. But it doesn't say whether it's the Attorney General of the state or the U.S. Attorney General.
I'd call them both just to be safe.
I think you would.
I would call them both.
Back up.
Bill?
Eric?
Shooty,
Eric Holder, yeah.
My gun got stolen, man. Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. Yep, thanks.
Hey,
Click.
did you ask him about the Fast and Furious thing while you had him on the line? Or were you talking to...
He was talking to Bill Shooty.
Oh, what was the backup what was the one about... just before that, I mean, the last thing you pointed out about on your property.
I'm not sure. Were you talking about the sale?
Or transferring possession?
Yeah, temporary transfer possession occurs during the designated hunting season.
Yeah. Loan
or return, consignment.
If it's on your own property, you can do it as long as you stay in your home.
7-day duration, down a little farther.
And I don't know if violation is a felony or not. It is if you do a straw purchase.
Sure.
If you do a straw purchase, it's 15 years now. And if the person you sold it to commits a crime, and you knew that person was going to commit a crime, it's 25 years.
The theft, the stolen gun. You said 24 hours from the time that you realize it's stolen.
Right.
So when they come to my door, and I can just go, oh, you know what? I can't find it. It must have been stolen.
Right, you could.
So that's a waste of...
It's stupid.
Time.
Yep.
I mean, we can get around that. Criminals like us, we are.
I'm not going to get on all this, but this is the sale of...
All laws are meant to be broken.
Sale of firearms and shipping them, all right? And mostly, I think, it has to do with the dealers and stuff. They're putting some stiff penalties in there.
Jeez.
If you violate anything, but they're really going after the owners, because if you do it, it's a 15-year felony. If you violate the knowingly send it to someone in violation of some law. But if you're the manager of 5 or more employees that do it, the manager gets 25 years in prison. So
that's absurd. Nice. It's completely absurd.
The big thing here is they also have forfeiture. So they go after your property, what you own, any property that's derived from or any proceeds the person obtained directly or indirectly as a result of a violation. Who determines that? And so they can take.
But you'd get a trial,
they
right?
Take your own
process before
I
all that
suppose.
happens.
As long as the drone doesn't get there before your trial.
Or as long as that judge, what's his name, wasn't on the case.
That's true.
What's his name?
You have a trial, but you're not allowed to talk.
Right. That's the judge.
Because of Fast and Furious, they threw this in here. Limitations on the Department of Justice. Unlawful for the Department of Justice to conduct any operation where a federal firearms licensee is directed, instructed, enticed, or otherwise encouraged to sell firearms to an individual If the Department of Justice or the agency knows or has reasonable cause to believe that such an individual is purchasing on behalf of another person for illegal purposes, unless the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, or the Assistant Attorney General from the criminal divisions personally reviews and approves the operation,
which Eric Holder did
in writing, and determines that the agency has prepared an operational plan that includes sufficient safeguards to prevent the firearm from being transferred to third parties without the law enforcement taking reasonable steps to lawfully interdict those firearms.
They did that just in case we get another president elected like George W. Bush, who does something like Fast and Furious, because he did all that. So
Of course, there's the unconstitutional parts of it, there's the immoral parts of it, there's the excessive penalties and fines, but also it's going to cost $40 million because they're having an appropriations good till 2023 of $40 million into this program. And it's the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of '68 that they're adding on to.
OCCSS.
Sounds
like a Nazi thing.
There are also parts of it that are encouraged.
But we're not the SS. Lindsey Graham said that.
Yeah, the high schools to get federal aid and help and making the schools safer, blah, blah, blah.
Arm the teachers?
They're also going to college campuses and doing the same thing.
Indoctrinating them that firearms are bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think
so. That's it. Check the bill for yourself. It's not that long and big. It's easy to go through.
I think we're okay because the NRA is on the job compromising for us. They're talking right now, from sources that I have, about background checks. So we'll be fine.
They said they don't support them now. They've come out.
Publicly, they don't support them. Privately, they're working with senators to compromise on universal background checks.
So the NRA is kind of like Arafat.
I can't.
In public, he says he's for peace.
I can't speak for the NRA.
The NRA is all about compromise. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Well, they're in the game not to win it, but
I like their idea of converting to Islam, though. Did you hear that?
Where did I have an idea of that?
I'm just saying.
Don't put it on me. When did I say there's an advantage to being Islamic?
I did. I said the NRA.
Oh, did they?
What are you talking about?
I'm like,
I thought you said, I like your idea of converting.
I like the NRA's idea of converting to Islam.
Oh, yeah.
All the
call it a
doctors
religious thing? A religious thing?
I mean, it's true. Nobody's going to deny them their constitutional American rights.
It's too bad.
I know. It's too bad. It's sarcasm.
You got to speak up so we can
It's sarcasm.
I can hear him. All right, what you got?
Well, all right. Colorado passed a really onerous gun rights bill. Magpul?
Magpul.
Yeah, Magpul. They're in the process of leaving. They're going to take a few hundred jobs.
Cool.
Now, of course, more sheriffs. Now we're even getting police chiefs coming on board about not enforcing these gun laws. White House is sort of thinly veiled threat saying we recommend that you do enforce all laws of the nation.
That's all they can do.
The Colorado hunters now are saying
legally that's all they can do.
They're going to boycott hunting in Colorado, and they make a lot of money in Colorado from that.
A lot of trips.
I know people personally now that have changed their plans and going to hunt in other states, so they're getting a lot of pressure from there.
And hit them where it hurts.
That's great.
And that's really too bad for the people of Colorado, but they elected the officials that are doing it.
And
I told you why before. I think it stemmed from the gay rights, the pro-marijuana rights movement, and they got all these liberals in there because those movements grew. Now you have the liberals that, they have all these other ideas too where they want government control.
Yeah, they're in control.
And it trickles over to all of our rights.
Well, Colorado, Arizona, a lot of Hollywood people have residents there and move there, and they're the type that support all those.
And that's where the money and the voice comes from, is the famous Hollywood people that are saying
prop up the tax base in those states and allow that.
Yep.
There's another Connecticut gun company, I believe, too, that is threatening to leave Connecticut, and it's an.
Colt's going to actually move.
It's Colt.
Colt?
That's right.
Yeah, so
they've been there for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, that's probably the oldest manufacturer of firearms in the United States.
They've been there a long time, and their business is booming, and they've hired more people and more manufacturing, and it's
come to Michigan, man. Of course, we know Snyder's anti-gun. So
they
can move here. It's fine.
They can still move here. We can get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, legally, vote him out.
Well, we could just say you're out of here.
I don't want nobody knocking down the doors.
John?
You know, the other day somebody tried to post that, how much better the state of Michigan is doing financially since Snyder's taken over.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. And everybody said, we got a better rating on this and stuff, the Standard & Poor or whatever.
Yeah.
Where's the job creation? I don't see it in Detroit. I don't see it in Flint. I don't see it in Saginaw.
Anecdotally,
I don't see it
made
anywhere
less
here.
money since he's been in office.
Yeah.
I mean,
me
he isn't any better. I mean, he's just an R after his name. He's a rhino. So there's no difference.
They do that at every level. They do it at the federal level, too, that unemployment's going down, jobs are up, all this crap. Well, we're living it. We see what's going on. People are still unemployed. People still can't afford to buy things.
The unemployment rate in Michigan, I would say, in this area of Michigan, is probably 35%. They're saying officially it's 20%. It's like,
I think Genesee County alone was like 17%.
Those numbers are all played around
skewed.
with. And,
it just depends on who's in office.
Yep.
I'm still employed, though. I'd just like to say that.
I am too.
18 years now.
Me too.
Non-union.
Not 18 years.
You're not even 18 years old.
No, I'm not.
Deny.
This is an airsoft gun.
And I'm 30. I'm 39.
I mean, not gun, airsoft thingy.
Airsoft.
Are you 39 yet?
A couple of times.
Yeah. Okay.
Time and a half.
Rubio ran Cruz playing filibuster on gun laws.
Yeah, it's cool that Rubio's in there pretending to be pro-liberty for a while now.
Yeah, he's got to.
I'm pro-liberty. Now follow me with the amnesty. Come on, guy.
I'm telling you, what a flip-flop.
Rumors are the White House is saying, "Oh, we don't want you to do that." That's what I've heard.
They don't want him to filibuster?
Yeah,
really?
They're warning him not to do that.
Yeah, they do. They put out articles and things that
Obama and them
nicely tell them not to.
Wait a minute, the White House warned them?
No, advised them, I think.
Isn't it tough shit? Because that's where they can get things done or not done.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this arrogant abuse.
Whoops. You fell out.
Getting out.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Your mic's going in and out.
Well, the thing is Obama he came from the Senate, so he knows that filibuster's legal, right?
Well, yeah, I would think so.
I mean, he was there long enough to know that, right?
I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy.
I don't think he paid attention. He voted president.
That's right. He was there, but he wasn't.
He doesn't have the balls to filibuster.
Basically, it just comes down to tyrant, tyrannical, whatever you want to call it. Bully. What is it? Bully puppet.
Bully pulpit. Yeah.
Bully puppet.
But I saw Rand Paul. It was on Hannity. I think Hannity wasn't on there, but he reaffirmed that they plan to filibuster anything that comes down that violates the Second Amendment. They're obviously going to vote against it. They're going to do their procedural thing to require 60 votes on anything like that. I don't really understand all the Senate rules, and I don't know because they changed the rules recently for filibusters,
right?
Where they don't always have to just stand up there and talk, and I think that's where the 60 votes comes in.
Yeah,
is that they technically filibuster, and that the 60 votes stop the filibuster. Right. So, but it's something.
So the guy could just say, I'm filibustering, and then step away and go sit down, and if they can't get 60 votes, then it's a filibuster until they get 60. And I
can't remember the term. Clotus?
I don't know if
something like that.
They work or not, but it's a platform for them to
cloture.
Get their
cloture.
What?
Cloture is they vote for cloture, which is the 60 votes to end the filibuster. So it's not a real old-fashioned filibuster like Rand Paul did on the drone thing. It's hey, I'm filibustering. I'm gonna go take a nap. You guys enjoy.
Till you come up with 60 votes to make me come back.
But it's something. So we'll see how that goes. Need to hold these guys to the things they say. If they're not going to support gun control laws, then that's awesome.
You think racism is alive in America?
I think there are racists, but I don't know if racism is actually as big a hype as the media says it is.
Well,
it's not for sure, and if it is, it's the flip-flop of what they try to portray.
This is State Representative Joe Mitchell, a Democrat.
What state?
Alabama.
Okay.
I love Alabama.
There was an exchange of emails when a constituent, Eddie Maxwell, he sent a mass email to all the state legislators saying that, if you introduce gun control bills, in his opinion, that was a violation of state law, unconstitutional, blah, blah, blah. And the good Representative Mitchell responded an hour later saying, "Your folk never used all of this shit to protect my folk from your slave-holding, murdering, adulterous, baby-raping, incestuous, snaggle-toothed, backward-assed, inbred, imported, criminal-minded kinfolk.
So he's a nice guy, is what you're saying.
But he never helped.
That's the state representative writing back to a constituent.
Yeah.
Huh. He should be just fired for being disrespectful to his boss.
Now, I'm not going to tell you who the white guy is and who the black guy is.
I can kind of figure that out.
But I think you can figure it out. I mean, holy smokes, where'd that come from? And I read Maxwell's email, and it was not racist in any sense. He was just, you guys are elected representatives. And
is that much different than the Republican, the conservative, that responded with a letter that said, if you don't like what we're doing, then move out of the state?
Well, I think that's ignorant, too.
Yeah.
But at least it's
no,
not
I agree
racist.
with him, but I don't think it's really his place to do that because, like you said, they work for us.
Right.
I wouldn't talk to my boss I might, but I shouldn't talk to my boss like that.
Right. Just like Chris Christie said in his little thing about that.
We should have picked our own damn cotton. One of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
Anyways,
they were probably pocketing some of it anyways. You never know. Employees are always stealing.
Where does that come from?
It's the biggest cause of shrink in companies. I've heard that's what.
Well, I just know that slavery.
Employees steal.
Employee theft.
Jeez. NRA entered it got denied at the district court level, but they're trying to file a lawsuit against the Secure Ammunition and Firearm Act in New York. They joined a bunch of gun groups in New York. It's the first step. They knew it was going to get denied, and that allows them to then go the next step up higher. So it's going to be a long battle, but they're involved in that. Did you hear about the little oopsie with the 10-round magazines in New York and what the governor decided to do?
Yeah, well, not only was the governor wrong in saying that you can't own anything larger than a 7-round magazine because it's easy to buy, he was wrong again when he said that magazines aren't made that only hold 7 rounds.
Yeah, I have several.
Yeah, so do I. I used to before that boating accident.
Right, we don't have them now. So what he said is, okay, you can have the 10-round magazine, but you can only put 7 bullets in them.
Yep.
And I asked, well, can you put the cartridge and the powder and the firing pin and all that in there too, or just the bullet? Okay, you just have to be the bullet?
You can have only 7 bullets in the clip.
Yeah.
The magazine.
No, he said clip on purpose.
Oh, he said on purpose.
Yeah, clip.
Kumo or him?
He
Cuomo has no idea
what
he's talking about.
So, oopsie, you can have 10-round magazines, but you can only put 7
And this is the same law where they forgot to exempt the police officers, right?
Right.
So, it was passed at night.
Well, at least it was fair.
Nobody read it. The bill was presented an hour or two before they were drunk. They were hopped up on meth, heroin, prostitutes were in there, cocaine.
I hate those parties. And then we make laws with them. It's just terrible.
You hate the mornings after those.
Yeah, I do, boy.
It's the regret the next day.
Well, it's not necessarily
what I do. Yeah, it's not so much.
You just said it's over.
It's sad.
Oh, God.
Wow, we digress a lot, don't we?
I miss...
I didn't think we'd get through this much stuff, but we're doing
good. We're doing good.
I think the clock's slow, actually.
Oh, yeah, we got 7 minutes, I think.
7 minutes.
I just want to do real quick. Mark Kelly, remember Mark Kelly, the husband of Gabby Gifford?
Bought the AR-15.
He bought the AR-15. Simple as can be.
Just
piece of cake.
There was that waiting period that got him.
And there was that little waiting period. But then this is how easy it is. And oops, the guy that was going to sell it to him said, because you said that you weren't going to use it for what you said, we're going to deny your application. And they also said it was Diamondback Police Supply in Tucson, Arizona. They said, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take the rifle that you wanted to buy that was so easy, and we're going to give it to a police organization to use it to raffle off to support SWAT teams and all that, which I disagree with, but that's another thing. But at least I think the raffle is open to the public.
I hope it is. That's what I was saying.
So Mark could buy a raffle ticket. He could actually win the gun that he was denied.
Yeah, and maybe he'll get it cheaper than what he paid originally.
Yeah, $5.
They refunded his money, right?
Yeah, they did.
So,
they gave him his money back. And the store is also donating $1,300, which was the cost of the gun, to the Eddie Eagle program through the NRA.
Yeah, so that's very good.
I think this is a good argument, though, for gun control.
What's
that law worked. We kept
a criminal, a crazy person?
Well, not criminal, but,
we don't know that. He could have went out and killed somebody with that gun.
Right.
Thought control.
Was he dishonest?
I need the mic over here.
He was dishonest about what his intentions, and I believe that
twice because he really wanted it for himself.
I just hope some private citizen gets it to add to their collection, and they use it lawfully for the rest of their life.
Absolutely,
that would be
and then pass it down to their children.
Lawfully being the right to bear, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
By lawfully, I mean they have it
to do whatever they want.
Yeah. Right. I think that would be justice. Yeah, that's fine.
New York State has estimated that they're going to have to spend $27 million to develop their statewide electronic handgun database, permit database.
Can't they just
part of that new law?
Can't they just use Facebook?
That'd be pretty good.
Man, everyone would join up. I mean,
or Facebook, or just have the.
I don't know who's going to pay for it. Right now, it's
the Journal News do it for
the
them.
permits are at the county level, but they want to make it a statewide database now.
That's cool. No, I mean I don't blame them. More records, the better, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just I mean, you got to know if they're stolen or not and stuff like that. I mean, it's like a car. Register it so we know. So when they pull you over, they know it's not stolen. And did anyone see the video of the officer? I just caught it on YouTube. I want to say it was Michigan, but it might not have been. Plainwell, where the gentleman was approached. The officer said that he suspected his firearm of being an automatic because a lot of those MP5s.
It was a 22.
Wow. Yeah, and he said that was his reasonable.
That was out west. I think that was either Washington or Oregon.
I don't think that works.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So he could say that about any. I mean, my 45 is an automatic. Yeah. It says right on the gun case, automatic 45 caliber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a semantics thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
We should just call him a semantic officer instead of a police officer. 3 minutes.
We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Can I?
What do you want to say?
I saw you had a lot of interest in that, and I kind of revived.
You can do your quote. It's a good quote.
Yeah, I
don't want to get into gay marriage if that's what you're saying.
No.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
You told me you were moving to Colorado.
It's a lose-lose
It's
argument.
homosexual marriage.
Well, okay, just say your little quote there, Shakespeare.
My religion is my freedom, the Constitution is my Bible, and my gun is my guarantee that no one will ever tell me who I have to worship.
Nice. There you go.
I just hit it off and he helped me with the gun part, because I use firearm.
What if the Constitution is wrong?
We can amend it.
Yeah, it turns out that that's part of it.
We can't do that with the Bible.
Yeah, well, Christians do it all the time.
You want to bet?
They do it every day.
You know how many versions of that
thing there are? Well, they reinterpret it. I don't know that they change it. Yeah, we don't like
They
did that
one
for
Bible
2,000
says
years.
this, one Bible says that. I got a Bible that says the Sabbath, one says Saturday. It's the same day. Anyways, but yeah, there's some different Bibles out there.
We don't have much time. New York pro-gun assemblyman is trying to scrap the hotline tip line that pays people $500 if you turn in somebody for an illegal gun and they get arrested. It was just supposed to be for the inner cities because that's where high crime is. They expanded it out to the suburbs now to try to get anybody to squeal on anybody. He wants to try to get rid of that, which I think is great. Here in Colorado, so many Colorado sheriffs came out against the gun law that they're not going to enforce it. Somehow the state is trying to hold up raises for the sheriffs as a punishment. I don't know, if that's true or not.
Well, we'll see how that pans out.
Anyways, let's
citizens who actually care. I mean, I was surprised that there hasn't been more of an uprising in New York. And Colorado, for that matter. I mean, we've talked to people who were there, gave speeches and things, and said that the hunters didn't show up because they're hunters and they're not worried about it. They only need 3 rounds for ducks. 7-round magazine limits is fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You only need one to shoot a deer. You know,
don't.
what the hell?
What was that? That was Cuomo, right? You don't need 10 rounds to kill a deer.
I
Cuomo,
do.
right?
Yeah. He's never been out in the country. He's never done anything outside of New York City, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks handling the calves exercise and going outdoors to the wilderness, you know.
I think the New York just needs to worry about finishing cleaning up after the storm.
I want to thank Steve for joining us in the studio.
Yes, we do.
Thank Nate. Thank John, our producer. He did another great job.
Thanks, Brian.
Oh, you're welcome. Flint Talk Radio. You can watch us over and over and over again at their site. And I think we're still on Ustream, right, John?
And why
still on
wouldn't you
Ustream
watch
and
us
on
over and over
YouTube
again?
too.
And on YouTube now, so that's
Awesome.
good.
Very good.
Until then, we want you to stay safe.
Stay armed.
Stay informed.
Say it.
Stay informed.
All right.
I was going to say carry a gun, but...
Oh, I think maybe we might not be on next in 2 weeks because we're going to an anti-gun protest at the Lansing Capitol, I think. So I want to let you know about that. So I don't know if we're going to be on in 2 weeks. But
all right. Bye.
Bye-bye.